Alright, so this training is going to be over how to basically start and deal with kindergarten. As a first-year teacher, I really struggled with kindergarten, and I reached out to some veteran teachers, one specifically that helped me out a lot, just to keep things simple. So through this presentation, you're going to basically just learn how to slowly scaffold your instruction to help guide your kindergartners to just a safe environment throughout elementary. So how to set high expectations and standards for kindergarten, how I can use signals to keep control of my students, and then what do I teach the first several weeks of school. So I'm going to start here with day one. So prior to the lesson, things that I have in place before I even have any kids show up is one, I have a seating chart already ready with the students' names without the pictures. Day one, I definitely establish good signals so students know when to listen and when to move and when to sit down and etc. So here are my first day activities. Mainly is just trying to teach transitioning, teaching kids how to get up and sit back down in their squad lines, and then just different routines that I use at the beginning of the school year to kind of help set a good precedence for the future. Again, prior to the lesson, this is what I'm showing you with my cursor is going to be what the seating chart looks like. So it's a bunch of blank students that are sitting down. It's got their names as well. So the first thing I do is I talk to the teacher and I ask the teacher if there are any students that they have already identified that need to maybe be closer proximity to me. So you can easily touch screen any of these seating charts and move them. And so this is where I stand in the front, and I'll move any students that I need to in the front prior to even having them come to my class based off of what the teacher says. Next, I already have my Audacio set up, which is what all of this information is here, which is all their students' names. Also, all these tabs up here that have different grades throughout the school year is what we'll give grades to. This right here is their Locomotors tab. So this, again, I worry about not on day one, but this is something that's already set in place. None of the grades are in there, but it's at least an open template. So when I actually have the kids come to my class, I always start with follow the leader, and as you guys see, when I start with follow the leader, we become cars, we become dinosaurs, planes, just to try to make it a little exciting for the kids. We try to make sounds and stuff. So when I walk the students in, I usually am the leader. If I have identified a student, I will have the student basically be right with me, so they're moving along with me. And then if I need to hold a student's hand, I will. If a student's completely out of line and just doesn't understand the concept of following the leader, I usually can have them just sit out until we get into our squad lines. If it is a disastrous and I see like multiple students not knowing where they're going, which doesn't happen often, but it does happen, I'll typically just go straight to the front of the line or front of the class, and we'll do our seating charts from there. So simple entry, and this is just something that I just want to put out there, is this simple follow leader that actually can turn into a routine, which I will have at the beginning of the year for kindergarten. So as students become familiar with following me as the leader, I will tend to stop the line, not on the first day, but maybe the second or third day they come to class, and then I'll choose a student to be the leader. So again, they're just following the line. They get to pick what we are, whether it's a car or a truck or a train or whatever, and then I have them just kind of lead the group following a medium pace is what we say. Once we're done with our follow leader, I'll have them go to the front of the line in front of the gym, and they'll just sit down. And that's where I will teach signals. I'll teach my sitting tall signal, and then I'll also put them in their squad lines. So I'm not going to go over this video, but you can go into this PowerPoint and you can actually watch how I teach sitting tall, what the signal is, and how I basically get my students to really focus when it's time to focus. This is a squad line video that just explains the importance of squad lines. Any of these things, any of these kids in yellow are just students that I'm not allowed to videotape. So when I know I'm going to videotape a class, I can sometimes group them into a group where the camera is not, or it just tells me that those are the students I need to edit out. So that's why those students are yellow. So if you want to go back and watch the squad line video or the sitting tall video, my signal video, that's where you can get it. All right. Next, once students are in their squad lines, it's very nice because I can be able to call their names if I see them doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So once we get into our squad lines, we review sitting tall again, and we also go over safety measures about moving around the gym, watching where we're going, not running as fast as we can when we get into certain games. And my biggest thing is that they are just understanding their basic space and control. They're in control of their bodies. We slowly work into some different transitionings. by getting up and sitting back down. So some of the things that we'll do is we can do like animal actions where we'll get up and pretend we're animals. We can get up and we can do freeze dance. We do our drum game, which I think is all the next slide. Yeah. So once they get in their squad lines, my goal is to do simple transitions. Freeze dance, drum game. Here's a video of the drum game, what that is. Animal actions. This is just what it simply states. Freeze dance, when the music's on, when it's on, we dance. When we freeze, we stop. Make sure we stay on our feet. We don't touch our friends. We don't slide on the ground. Animal actions is they get to choose an animal, then they get to freeze like that animal, and I usually pick a different student to be able to pick a different animal. And then basically, day 2 is when I'll start my locomotor routine, and I usually do a pre-assessment, so I don't actually teach the actual skills until day 3. But I will say the locomotor movement, this routine right here, is like the holy grail of kindergarten because it sets precedence for future games. So here are my rules for the locomotor movements once you get into this routine, but I do have this as a daily routine. At the beginning, it takes a little bit of time because they got to follow all these rules. But as they understand these rules, the routine really, really only takes about 5 minutes once you get into once the students understand. So here are our rules. If we don't follow these rules, we do each movement over if they don't follow the rules for each movement. So stay on their feet, there's no sliding, there's no touching their friends, and there's no touching the wall, okay, or the mats. It does take time at first, as I said, but I totally would say it is worth the initial struggle. Okay, I do have to sit them down and sit them tall from time to time, especially when I try to show them what skipping is or galloping or sliding, and then they want to do it if they're standing up. So a lot of times I'll let them know, like, look, we're going to waste time and I'm going to have to sit you tall and then show you so you don't move. And so those are just things you got to deal with when you teach that routine, but that routine is gold once the kids understand it because it applies to all the games. So lining up and then their grade. So this is just something that usually I start this in day 2, day 3, is that we'll practice lining up once or twice, and then I do show them that they do have a grade that they have to show me. And so with students, I have them just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. As you guys see this routine, if you guys watch the video on the effort grade, it's a great thing I would have in class just because it does hold kids accountable for their learning. Every student has a bad day, and it's just like one thing I try to teach is it's okay to have a bad day. We all have bad days, but just try to be positive the next day if for some reason we have a bad day. Like I said, I usually am busy day 1. I've got a bunch of signals trying to get them up and down. So I usually teach this day 2. We talk about it day 1 and we line up walking day 1, but we actually go over it day 2. So as you get into these procedures, once you get them learning those basic signal games and transitions, then I try to start teaching them with like basic equipment. So like a hula hoop or a scarf. I always go back to simple non-equipment games if students act up. So yeah, if they can't handle a situation, I always just retain back to those activities that don't require equipment. And again, you always need to be teaching how to put away equipment safely, how to transition. So those are all things that you will definitely need to continuously do throughout at the beginning of especially kindergarten. Last, again, you have your students give yourself a grade. So for my kindergarten students, I do thumbs up, thumbs down. And let's go to the next slide. So after teaching day 1, we continue to practice simple transitions until we get our beginning of the year daily routine, locomotor routine kind of done. So I will push the locomotor routine throughout the beginning of the school year every day. And again, it is a great, great thing to just be able to refer back to with basic rules, which is being safe. So day 1, these are actually time lapses that I did for my kindergartners. So this is a day 1, and that actually goes over exactly what I just went through with the locomotor, or I'm sorry, with the follow leader, taking their pictures, putting them in squad lines, doing basic transitions. And then this is a time lapse of the pre-assessment time lapse that I did for their locomotors. And then day 3, we actually had a fire drill. And for some reason, I just stopped doing time lapses. So I might start that up again in the future. These are just basic games, and I still need to make videos for a lot of these. So I apologize for that ahead of time, but I can at least talk about them. So these are some basic first activities that I do with equipment. So hula hoop in cars and motorcycles. I'll give students hula hoops and we'll pretend we are in cars and we'll put our seatbelts on. We'll do motorcycles, pretend we put a helmet on. There's a ton of activities you can do with hula hoops, which I will make videos for. And this is just one of the most basic ones. We do individual challenges. We do class challenges. We do a lot of different things with hula hoops. So I've got some work to do on that. I will get those videos out ASAP. Recycle bin is a really, really good activity for real basic teaching, tossing, throwing, boundaries, trying to stay behind. For me specifically, it's the yellow circle in the middle of the gym, and it is great for cleaning up. There's a lot of equipment out, and students need to be able to put the equipment away safely while I put the mats away, and so that's one reason why I love Recycle Bin. It's very simple. Students love being in the middle, and there is a video for that if you want it. Scarf challenges. We do scarf challenges, and then we lead up to juggling. I will make a video for this too. I've got a bunch of videos, but I just need to edit them. So I will go over scarf challenges with you. Simple relays are great, just to take turns, teaching students to take turns, and then you can scaffold your relay by adding more equipment, as you see in the video. Ice cream scoop is a simple game to manage. You can do a lot of different things. Again, I need to make a video for that, so I will. Cup stacking structures, I have a video for that. I think it's later in the PowerPoint. But cup stacking is great for kindergartners. They do a really good job with this. We do different structures on a PowerPoint, so they have to look at it. I don't teach the actual formations until they're in second grade. Balloons are great for striking, doing different body parts. That's one of their standards, is learning different body parts. So balloons is a great way to implement just basic striking, and I start with just their hands and body parts until we get into like rackets. Burger flip's a really good one. Again, I make videos of all of these. I need to make videos, so I will. And then stations, I'm going to make a ton of videos about stations eventually. I'm still working on my 3rd through 5th grade stuff right now, and I'm almost done with it. So moving on, these are all really basic activities that you can do at the beginning of the school year, really throughout almost half the school year. And then these are just some different games, more class games. So this is a very simple tag game, Sharks vs. Dolphins. Dr. Tag's great about teaching germs. It's a little bit more advanced than Sharks and Dolphins because you're going from one side of the gym to the other, whereas Dr. Tag is a full-out gym. There's no safe area, so you're running every which direction. Keeper of the Castle is great for taking turns, teaching kids to stay on their feet, to basically run in and try to steal a scarf. So there's a video for that. That's a good chasing and fleeing activity. And then Nutrition Relay is great for teaching health, but I do PowerPoints about teaching food groups, identifying healthy and unhealthy foods, and so this is a good little relay race that we do that incorporates health. Brushing your teeth also incorporates health. I will make a video on that. That's what this picture is the students basically will set their pins up on one line, another group will set them up on the other line. Students have to stay behind the pins, which is the hard part. So in level 1, there's no defense. You have to stay behind the pins, and that's really what I'm looking for. Then level 2, I'll have captains be able to stand in these squares, and they can either stand close to the middle where they can play offense, or they can protect their pins. So that's just a great simple little game. Again, working on a lot of different skills. Alpha Number Spot is really good for incorporating the alphabet and numbers in your class, and it's really good for teamwork. Really good for sportsmanship, teamwork. But these are really good initial games to teach your class. And then let's see where we're at here. Okay, so once you get students that can kind of learn basic routines, they understand their locomotors, they understand spatial awareness, they understand basic games, basic handling equipment, then I start incorporating what I teach to my older kids. So soccer, basketball, hockey, we do whole group activities and line drills. The Cupid Shuffle, the Fortnite dance, so some different dances. We also do the Whip Nene fitness dance. Tumbling gymnastics, we do stations for my older kids, and so I rotate them through stations as well. We do volleyball stations, cup stacking, juggling, frisbee throwing, bowling throwing. So my point is once you've established good transitioning, basic routines, basic equipment use, you can really modify any activity to what you teach your whole group, your older kids. And that's what I do as well as I get into the school year. I don't start off with, hey, here's a hockey stick, but once I feel like I trust the kids, then that's when they earn those privileges. And then I think this is the last slide I have, but basically I do incorporate health. So these are some different health PowerPoints that I do. So we do different changes in the body while exercising. So what happens to your body when you exercise, identifying different body parts, different food groups, healthy versus unhealthy foods. And then this is the nutrition game I was showing you about. This is a video about it, and it's a way that how I try to progressively teach the content before we even get into the game. And that's really it. So the whole purpose of this video, just again to, I guess, reflect. is to give you some kind of guidance on how to start out a class of kids you don't know. Start them off taking their pictures so you can easily identify them on your Idacio app. So if you're in the middle of class and you see a kid acting up, you can be like, Oscar, and they look up like, holy crap, this guy knows who I am, or woman. Anyhow, I hope that helped you guys out, and I will share this PowerPoint, and I'll try to update these videos as quickly as I can. Hopefully I'll get it done by the summer.